Hi guys, I am having a lazy Sunday. I have just been kind of laying around all day reading and, watching YouTube, doing that kind of stuff and eating. And that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video because I feel like, one, it's what I'm going through right now, and that's kind of the point of these videos, is to use my life as inspiration to help others and help myself, really. And two, because I think that it's not something that's talked about enough in the health and fitness world, and that I think people don't realize is a part of the process. And that is when we do, oh, my bobby pin's stuck on the blanket back there. When we do this thing that they call falling off the wagon, when you kind of maybe step backwards a little bit in your whatever journey you're on, whether it's, alcohol, drugs, food. I'm talking about food right now. And I have just been eating like terribly the last few days. I mean, definitely not nearly as bad. I don't think I ever revert back to my original state of eating. Like, I thank God. But I do fall backwards sometimes. And I feel like I have a lot of challengers and coaches and people in general that I see saying this or telling me this or whatever. And I feel like it's the reason that a lot of people kind of stop working on themselves in the way that they eat and stop working out and all of that stuff. And I just wanted to explain to you guys that it's a normal part of the process to kind of move forward and then take a few steps back and then move forward and take a few steps back. And honestly, it is frustrating. I know the feeling. But I just wanted to say that, like, this is a part of the process, and like, just because that you've fallen back a little bit or you've made a few bad decisions is no reason to completely give up your whole health journey or to say that you can't do it or that it will always be this way. Like, I mean, I haven't eaten very well. I've eaten a lot of sweets over the last few days, a lot of carbs. Granted, it is that time of the month, and so I'm gonna use that a little bit as an excuse because I'm noticing my cycles, and that's another thing that people should realize, is that these things kind of cycle around. You can't be on your A game all the frickin' time, and so I do kind of give myself some slack during my moon cycle because it's the only time of the month that I really just have these really ravenous cravings for things that are bad for me. And the whole rest of the month, I do really good. I eat really clean and it feels really good. And so I've recognized that this is a cycle and that it always cycles back around, even though I feel like during this time when I'm just eating a lot, I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm gonna gain all my weight back, or I'm gonna lose all that hard work that I did, or I'm falling back into old behaviors. Like, these are all thoughts that I have. I'm not having them now because I've recognized that this is a pattern. But I used to have these thoughts, and they freak you out, and they make you think that you're going backwards, or like you're going to lose everything that you've worked for, or gain all your weight back or whatever. And that's not true, because over time you will recognize that you have these cycles, and that when you do have these steps back, you can choose to go back to the way that you were living, and don't let it discourage you and ruin everything that you have worked for, because just a few days of bad eating is not going to kill you, and it's not going to completely reset all of the hard work you've done. Just like how like, you didn't gain all of your weight in a few days or in one bad meal, just like you don't lose all of your weight in a few days or with one good meal. These things happen over time with consistent choices. And so if you're consistently making better choices than bad choices or old behavior choices, I think you're doing phenomenal. And even if you're still at that stage where you're probably making more bad choices, but you're at least trying to make good choices, that's improvement, and you're well on your way to meeting that goal or having that life that you want to have. And so I just want to encourage everyone that if you're ever struggling and you're feeling like you're falling backwards, like, take a second and breathe and kind of assess the situation a little bit further before you fall back into this whole thing, because I mean I'm catching myself kind of feeling like I'm falling backwards just because of the way that I've been eating over the last few days, probably the last week, and the extreme cravings that I've had this week. And I'm honestly going to contribute it to both the supermoon or whatever, plus the planets in retrograde, plus I'm on my moon cycle, my own personal moon cycle. So it's just like some intense fucking energy going on right now, and I'm having my own physical hormonal stuff happening. And so I think that is probably why I'm having much more extreme cravings than I normally do, because usually I can drink my Shakeology and have it taken care of, or eat whatever the thing is that I'm craving, and then I'm done and I'm good and I go back to my regular way of eating. But over the last week, I just want to eat and eat and eat and eat all day long, and no matter how much I eat, I still want more. And it's like I can't like calm this craving inside me. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what are you doing? What is happening? And I've just come, and since I'm now coming on the other side of it, where this period is ending, and I'm having that more of a release feeling instead of this full bloated hormonal feeling. Sorry, this is TMI, but this is just health and life and the way the body works, so I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, but now I'm starting to recognize that it's like, okay, it was just like a hormonal, like energetic thing, and intense energy thing, and it was just a blip in the story of my health journey, you know? So there's no reason to get all emotional and beat myself up about it and think that I've regressed or anything like that, because this is just a part of the journey. And I just see so often people have these moments where they feel like they're falling backwards, and then they just let themselves continue to fall backwards. And it's just like, no, just keep going. You haven't failed because you ate some bad stuff or you skipped your workout a few days or whatever. You haven't failed. Just get back on the horse and keep going, and you'll get there. I have lost over 70 pounds now, and you can bet your fucking ass that I was not making healthy, good choices through this whole journey. I was not. For the first year, where I lost probably a good 60 pounds, no, I'd say maybe 45, 50 pounds. I did all of that while still binge eating a lot, like every night, late at night, chocolate, just terrible bad food. I still had some serious moments of binging and missing workouts, all of that stuff, but I still made progress over time. I still, I kept trying, and I kept coming back to this stuff, and I kept trying to do better things and try new recipes and find solutions to the problems I was having. And then over time, like sometimes you don't recognize the transformation that's happening on the day to day, but then over time it does happen, and you can look back and you can see the patterns and the steps along the way, and all of the back and forth, and how much progress you really did make. And then even still, I don't eat perfectly clean every single day. I don't. I still eat chocolate probably every day, I'd say. If at least I have my Shakeology every single day, but I'd say more often than not, I probably usually let myself have like a cookie or a piece of chocolate, or sometimes just a small like chocolate bar. Like I found these new ones at Whole Foods that I really like, and I can't remember what they're called right now, but I try to make better choices. Like I try not to buy, the cookies and crackers and snacks that are like packed with artificial ingredients, and try to buy ones that have more whole, real ingredients and shorter ingredient lists. And so that is it's still not like good for you, but it's a better choice than going and buying the, what are those, the chocolate chip cookies in the pack at Safeway or whatever with the elves on the front, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still junk food, but it's a better junk food, I guess. And I let myself have something like that pretty much every single day. But I also make sure that I get my greens in every single day. And when I don't get my greens in, I can feel it. I can so feel it. And if I feel like sometimes at the end of the day, I'll be feeling kind of weird and feeling kind of tired or lethargic or whatever, and I'll think like, did you eat enough vegetables today? And usually the answer is no, and that's why I'm feeling kind of weird in my body and feeling kind of lethargic and lazy and whatever. And so you try to balance it out. You want to eat clean more than you don't, but you still, we're human. Like, you can still enjoy your food. And even if it's eating healthy, like even when I eat my greens and my veggies, they still taste very good and satisfying. But they didn't when I first started. I remember when I first started trying to do this stuff, and my veggies were so bland and boring, and I thought I was never going to get this thing. But over time, I've found some good YouTube channels. I've found some good places to find recipes. I get them in my challenge groups. We share recipes, and just with talking with people and stuff. And I've found all sorts of yummy, yummy, yummy ways to season my vegetables and mix them with other things. And so they're always satisfying and really good. I'm not sacrificing any flavor or anything. And so it's just a process of learning and trying new things, trial and error, messing up and then trying again, falling down and then getting back up. And so if you're ever in one of these moments where you feel like you're just like falling backwards and like, oh my God, like I'm gonna gain all my weight, or I'm not gonna lose my weight. Because I remember when I first started, and you just want the weight to be gone. You just want it to be gone like yesterday, you know? And so every time you mess up, it feels like you've stepped like 10 feet backwards and you're never going to lose the weight. But I'm just telling you that you will if you keep going, and sometimes maybe just feel out the situation you're in and then get back up and keep going. Like, don't force yourself and shove yourself, and I mean, there is something to be said by pushing yourself a bit and kind of doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. Like, I don't always want to do my workout every day, but I always feel better when I do. But then there are also days when it's like, you know what, today is just a yoga day, or today's just a lazy day, and I'm just going to let myself have it, because if I don't, I'm going to have this continuing battle going on within myself until I take that break and I rest and relax and then get back up on the horse and start my workout, start back up where I left off. So you don't have to do things perfectly to lose this weight. You really don't. And I don't think we need to be so hard on ourselves. I definitely catch myself doing it. I was just doing it today. That was the whole inspiration in making this video, was like, no, I need to talk about this and say something, because this is not something that we always talk about. We always see all the triumphs and the, you see all the good stuff and the exciting stuff when it comes to losing weight, and I don't feel like we always share the struggle. And I think I have reservations about sharing the struggle, because I don't want people to think that it's so hard that they can't do it. And so I try to make sure that I share it in a way that lets people know that they're just not alone, and that they can do it, and that this is just a part of the journey, because it is hard sometimes. It is. But I think we definitely make it harder on ourselves with the shit that goes on in between our ears. And so when you can recognize that these things are just phases, and that you're going to cycle through and you'll come back out on the other end, it makes it a lot easier, so that you're not sitting here beating up on yourself and, thinking that you've lost it all, or that you're falling off the wagon or whatever. We all have these moments. I have, days that I do good and days that I don't do so good, and I have weeks that I do good and then weeks that I don't do so good, so it's just a part of the process. It's just a cyclical thing. It's a up and down thing, and you let yourself go through the motions and feel it and be in it and move on and take that next step forward. So you're not alone in this struggle. Like, it is hard, and it's, I think mainly behavior modification in general is hard, because we're creatures of habits. And so when you're trying to integrate new habits, and especially like with me, multiple new habits, it's hard to maintain that. You have to change slowly and change just certain things at a time. And if you're going to take on multiple things, you have to recognize that you're going to fall backwards and get back up and keep going, and fall backwards and get back up and keep going, and that you're not going to do it perfectly. It's not going to happen overnight, and you just have to keep trying to make better decisions. And it all happens over time. And so I don't know. I just want everyone to know that this is an up and down journey, and just because you're having a down doesn't mean you're going to stay down, doesn't mean that you're going to lose everything that you worked for, doesn't mean that you're not going to get where you're trying to go. It's just a part of the process, part of the journey, part of how it all goes. So, sometimes just let yourself rest, and then other times it's just time to get back up and do the thing. So do the thing. Just keep going. That's all you gotta do. Just keep moving forward. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. These are the things that I tell myself in my brain all the time. So just keep going, guys. You'll get there. You'll get there. Don't let one or a few setbacks, big or small, deter you from everything that you want and everything that you've been working for. Because I think we often learn a lot from these situations that kind of suck to go through. I feel like we learn a lot in these times. This is when we grow the most, and for me, this is when I do my self-reflection more, more so than when I'm happy and everything's going great. So, just try to take every fall and every setback as a learning experience and not as a major failure, because you're going to fail anytime you try to do something new and different and something that you're not used to doing, especially if you're used to living in the complete opposite kind of way. Because I spent the first 19 years of my life eating complete crap, treating myself like crap, putting all sorts of things in and on my body that didn't belong there. I just made a post about the lotions and everything, and just completely filling my body with just really bad, harsh chemicals and fatty, sugary, salty things, and 19 years. And I've spent the last, how old am I? Last 5 years trying to fix that and trying to retrain myself and retrain my habits. And I'm still not perfect, but I've made so much progress. I've lost 70 pounds. So it's just goes to show that even when you feel like you're flailing and you feel like you're a freaking hot mess, that you're still making progress. It's just a part of the story, part of the journey, part of the thing, the path. So just because you feel like a hot mess doesn't really mean you are a hot mess. So just keep on going, guys. You'll get there. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.